M-I-C.
K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. Mickey Mouse. Donald Duck. What's Good with John and Joyce is sponsored by Woodwinds Wedding and Special Events Venue in Brantford, Connecticut, and Silvio's award-winning Italian sauces, which you can buy anytime online at silviosauces.com. That's silviosauces.com. Hello, how are you? We're getting a little bit silly here.
Disney.
Welcome to Disney. We're having so much fun. Boy, I'm going to take a lot of heat for this when I'm at the gym. Oh my God. At the radio station. Well, welcome to another edition of What's Good with John and Joyce. I'm John Cadillac Seville from iHeartRadio with my cohort Joyce, alias Mickey and Minnie Mouse today. And we brought back a guest that we had earlier. So much fun. He has a digital company. He does so well with that, but he also likes to go to Disney. And who doesn't?
Oh, that is an understatement.
Yeah, I mean, how many times a year does he go? Well, hey, listen, he'll tell you more about that. But if anybody knows anything about Disney, even maybe as much as Walt Disney knew himself, it could be up in that, right? This gentleman does. Robert Graham, welcome back to What's Good with John and Joyce.
I'm always happy to be here.
Back. Hello, Robert.
Is it a bad time to tell you I know nothing about Disney?
No.
No.
Just like wearing a
It's like
hat.
Schultz on Hogan's Hero. I know nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
To tell you how many, because one of the questions, I go 3 to 4 times a year.
Okay, so
3 to
total
4
amount
times.
that you've been, what would you say?
Well, the amount I've been is different from, my son who's 14 has been there 42 times.
42 times.
I've done probably close to 60.
Wow.
You've been there 60 times.
I've been there 60 times, either Disneyland or Disney World.
And there's always something new to see every time.
Correct.
Wow.
Because I'm into the foods at the restaurants.
Yeah.
There are still things that I have not done or seen or eaten.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Wow.
And which ones do you go to? You go more? What?
I go to Disneyland more.
Okay, in California.
And that was a difference. When I grew up, it was Disney World because it's easy. It's part of the reason why I go. Like, I went with my parents 2 or 3 times as like an 8-year-old, then as like a 12-year-old, and I absolutely just fell in love with the whole.
And you're still an 8-year-old and 12-year-old.
I'm still.
You
When I
never
go
lose that,
there,
do you?
there is a part of me that's still a little kid.
Aw, that must
And
feel good as soon as you get there.
It's my happy place. It's like I like walking in. I can feel the weight of the world just kind of
Yes.
melt away.
And your wife and your son feels the same way?
Oh yeah.
Wait, were you going there first before you met your wife?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I went with my
Oh,
parents, and then Disneyland's kind of a different story. Like, I went to Disneyland once with my parents and one with a former company. But both times, I would only rode like 2 rides. One of them it was the opening. We got there, and it just happened that Splash Mountain was opening for the first time.
Love Splash Mountain.
And I waited 5.5 hours in line.
Really?
Yeah. And that was the whole day at Disney. I loved that ride.
Was it worth it?
It was worth it.
Yeah.
And the next time I was doing, I used to do training videos for Chuck E. Cheese. That's another whole story.
Right, you used to work with a Chuck E. Cheese. You were a manager or, yeah.
I was a manager. I did training.
Yeah, a little side thing, yeah.
And we were filming training videos, and then the script was all messed up, and my boss handed me a whole bunch of cash and told me to take the camera guy and the audio guy and the other person recording, told us to go to Disneyland. I was right down the street, but we only had 3 hours. So we just ran into Disney, did like literally 2 rides, and came back and recorded.
But you were hooked.
I was hooked. And then we started going to Disneyland, and I'm really big into the history. I'm really big into Walt. Like, I consume the books. I do the podcasts.
And you have a book right over
I
there.
have a Disney book right here.
Show that on the camera there. That's
One of the many.
wow.
One of the many.
I mean, who doesn't love Disney? The Wonderful World of Disney. I remember watching that on TV all the time on Sunday nights.
It's just magic.
The Wonderful World of Disney, right?
Yeah.
That was part of our viewing growing up.
Yeah, that was part of it. Walt was a master at marketing, especially the theme park. He kind of with the Wonderful World of Disney, he kind of interjected it into that.
Right.
Because that's how that show kind of started. He always gave up like updates on the building of Disneyland.
And it wasn't a smooth ride in the beginning. Everybody thinks, Walt Disney was successful overnight.
No.
No.
He had a very, very long road. Like, that's one of the things I like about the history of it. Like, he had many failures before he really hit it.
But isn't that true with most things, Robert?
Correct.
Most people fail their whales. If you're going to fall forward.
Correct.
That's my
Wait,
favorite phrase.
did Walt Disney have failures in other businesses or trying to get
He was doing
this
like
off the ground?
animation, so his first animation studio basically went bankrupt.
Guy has no creativity. Remember they said that about him?
They said
He has
that.
no creativity.
Then he had a character called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit that basically got stolen from him. Like he went to negotiate a contract, and the person said, "Well, I own the character. I've already called, and I've gotten like 80% of your staff to come on and animate this, and I'm not paying you anything because I'm doing this myself."
Wow.
Oh.
And then the story is that he left New York by train, because this is like in the 30s, and he basically, during that train ride, he came up with Mickey Mouse and started
Really?
again. Like I think a lot of people would have just given up at that point, but he started
And he
again.
just came up with the name too?
He came up, it was supposed to be Mortimer Mouse, I think, and his
Mortimer.
wife told him it was a dumb idea.
It doesn't have the same ring.
And so then he changed it, and then, he was basically the first person with a sound cartoon. And then he became the first person to do an animated movie, Snow White. Like, so nobody ever thought you can watch a whole movie that's animated.
Right.
And then he was kind of the first person to do what's called the theme park.
Mhm.
There was amusement parks, but he was the first person to do all this theming and making it kind of an immersive place.
Hmm.
And then everybody started copying him after that.
You think he'd be really astounded by how big Disney is in 2025?
I think he would be.
Hmm.
But he was always, whatever the newest thing was, he was always going out. And
Yeah.
I got the pleasure of last time we went to California like about a month ago, and I was looking online on social media, and the last remaining Imagineer that had to do with Disneyland, his name is Bob Gurr. He's in his 90s, and he was doing a talk 2 miles away from Disney at a library. And you can do a meet and greet, and you can listen to him talk. He was actually the first person to do a steel roller coaster.
A steel roller coaster.
Yeah, and he taught himself, because he was originally kind of a car designer. So he taught himself trigonometry in order to build the Matterhorn, which is an indoor.
What is teach yourself trigonometry?
I don't know. No, and he went on after Disney. He went on to create all kinds of, the LA Olympics. He did these flying saucers that came down.
These people are brilliant.
They're all visionaries.
Really,
Yeah.
they are.
They're
They are.
visionaries, yeah, especially Walt Disney. Okay, so take me through me, novice. I've never been to Disney.
You've never been
We have
there,
to change
Joyce.
that. It's
No,
Joyce.
it's because, I had these little kids young. I was always working, and then I have to deal with disabilities at home. So there's never been a time where I could say, we can all go together,
Yeah.
because it can be costly.
Correct. It can be.
But I'm going to figure this out. I want to tell you a little sad. It's not a sad story. My dad always wanted to go to Disney and take us to Disney, but he never got there because he had a business. He was always, when you own your own business, it's up, it's down.
Sure.
And he owned a gas station. He worked hard. And when he died fairly young, and I did the eulogy, I said, Dad, I will go to Disney for you. I am going. So now it's like, okay, I really have got to get there. So I want to know, to other people who may not have gone yet or whatever, I'm going to start at the one, of course, in Florida, because it's closer.
Correct. That's the easier one.
And
too.
what do I need to know? Like, I look online, it's like, you can prepay this and that.
Correct. Well, you call me and then I walk.
Okay,
Like
all right.
I do. I'm actually a Disney travel agent on the side. Like, it's not something I publicize a lot, other than right now. But and I do select people. I'll help plan their trip, because I kind of know all.
Like the viewers of What's Good with John and
Yeah,
Joyce,
they
you'll help all of them.
Oh.
They can
Okay.
contact me. Like,
Oh, that's fabulous.
yeah, no, I enjoy doing that too. It's like kind of a side thing. It's not my main gig.
You know what
Little side
surprised
hustle.
me?
Yeah.
I was listening to Sirius Radio. I was listening to Andy Cohen, who was taking his kids for the first time. He was asking for callers to tell him, and they were calling in with advice as far as the strollers, because he didn't know.
Oh yeah, you
do.
got to be kind of organized. And
Right.
my thing is, like, especially with Florida, like my big word of advice is, and some people don't like it because they're on vacation, is that you get there before park open. You make sure you're like at the gates 20 to 30 minutes beforehand, before they open the gates.
What time do the gates open?
That's usually 8, sometimes 7:30.
That's not so bad. I noticed for you, it's the way you.
My actual pattern is I do this all the time, especially for Florida when it's hot. I do opening to about 12:30, grab a lunch, back to the hotel, 4.5 hours.
Excuse me, what did you mean the opening 12:30?
Oh, I get there at open. Because when you
get there when it opens super early.
Right, you try to get there like 20 minutes before they open the door.
Or it's too hot.
Because when they open the gates, there's probably 10,000 people there, but they get dispersed all over the park and they head for
10,000 people waiting.
Yeah, but it in the morning you'll get a good hour that there's a lot of attractions you'll just be able to walk right on because the people gravitate towards like 2 or 3 attractions.
And it's so spaced out too.
What are the 2 or 3 that they tend to gravitate towards?
They tend to either go to Space Mountain, they go to Tiana's, which is a new ride, or they go to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Disney.
Tiana's, what kind of a ride is that?
That's Splash Mountain. They converted it to.
Oh, I didn't know that because at Splash Mountain I've done that.
Yeah, since it's the newest thing, like those people gravitate to that, but then every other ride is open.
I want to go to the haunted house.
Well, that's usually open. Like it's just easy to get on in the beginning, and I stay till like 12, and then I go get lunch, and then back to the hotel to pool, nap.
What would I stay away from since we're all adults now? I don't have like little kids wanting to go on certain rides, like the teacup or something.
Rides, so.
Wait,
you go on these rides too, right?
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, teacups and all that.
As I get older, spinning rides are not my.
Yeah, I don't like spinning.
They're not my friend.
Yeah,
so
I like roller coasters. Never did.
Yeah, so like I love roller coasters. Although my wife won't go upside down coasters.
Right.
But I always gravitate, we get there and I always wanted to like, hey, I should tape how my family navigates the park because we get a lot done and we take time off. And then usually we do like a sit down dinner and then we're back to the park until it closes.
But that didn't happen overnight. That's years and years of
yeah.
Right? So you could actually do a whole instructional video.
Oh, 100%. I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to sit down and be like, this is how I would navigate. And each of them are different. Disney World is completely different to Disneyland. Yeah. They are two unique.
So tell us how.
A lot of the same rides. Disneyland rides are actually, in the most part, when they're the same ride, they're actually better.
At Disneyland.
At Disneyland.
California.
Even though that's the older one.
It's the older one, but because it's a locals park and they need the local people to come in more often, that they have a tendency to update those rides first.
Wow.
So Pirates of the Caribbean is like 10 minutes longer.
Okay.
Peter Pan there has more audio visuals. The Thunder Mountain has more audio visuals. Now they're catching up in Florida now. They're refurbing Thunder Mountain to be more like the one in Disneyland.
You would think they want to be consistent.
Yeah. No, they do Disneyland first, and then it kind of gets rolled out to Disney World.
Is the food also different?
The food in Disneyland is a lot better because once again, it's a locals park. So Disney World's more of like once in a lifetime trip. People are coming there once, maybe every 2 or 3 years. Disneyland, some of those people come in every week. Like I have a very good friend out there. He has a season pass. He's there at least once a week, if not a week.
So does he go there to eat?
He goes there. You treat the park differently when you're like a season pass holder. It's more of old school, kind of like a mall. You're going there to like walk around and catch they always say there's vibes. Yeah. Both parks have vibes, but Disneyland is very laid back. And that's one of the reasons I like either going to either both of them. I like watching people have fun. So there's a general overall seeing a bunch of people having fun, just good vibes going on. Yeah. So like, people in California navigate the park. They might only do one ride or do no rides. Maybe they'll just walk around the park, catch the fireworks show, grab a bite to eat, have dinner, and they'll hit it for 3 hours because they're going to be back next week.
Wow. It's like the fabric in the community.
Yeah, it's both parks have a very different feel. In summer, I definitely prefer Disneyland because it's usually 80 degrees, no humidity, where Florida can get very humid and the storms come in. It's kind of a joke. 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's going to pour.
It pours for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Every
Then it clears up.
So how I navigate each of those parks is different. Mm-hmm. I do some of the same stuff. Like my absolute favorite thing in the world is going to dinner, nice sit down dinner, and then going back to the park like 7, 8 o'clock at night and see how much I can get done during that time. Wow. So,
and are there fireworks every day?
Fireworks
at both
every
places?
Day. In California, sometimes if the wind is not, because there's like the Santa Ana winds that come off the desert, if it's not cooperating, and I never knew this, and you'd see it all the time. You would see a white balloon go up. You'd be standing around waiting for the fireworks. You see a white balloon go into the air, and I would always think like, oh, some kid lost his balloon. How sad! They release a balloon, and if it exits the park in 10 minutes, if it the balloon gets out of the park, and that time the winds are too strong and the fireworks are off.
But they don't need to do that in Florida.
They don't need to do that in Florida.
No.
And then, but there's like now at Disneyland, there's basically 4 nighttime shows going on, all within basically 15 minutes of each other. So there's fireworks, and there's a parade, and then there's in Disneyland they built Galaxy's Edge, a Star Wars area behind Disneyland, whereas in Disney World it's in a different park. But you can go catch the same fireworks in Star Wars in Galaxy's Edge that have their own projections and our own theme to the same fireworks. So it's like a separate show. Like, so it is Disneyland at night is like, there's just so much going on. So many people running around.
It's just a feast for the senses, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Can it be overload sometimes?
Sometimes. That's why I like leaving the park between like 12 and 4, because that's typically the busiest.
Right.
The busiest time.
Okay.
The sun's the highest. It's really busy. Like I like kind of going back to the hotel, relaxing.
Yeah, chill out.
Then the nighttime at any of those parks are my favorite. The lighting, the shows.
Yeah, my wife and I went down to Orlando. We just loved it at night too. Walking around at night, just the vibe.
The vibe, I love.
Getting ready for the fireworks. Your choice, you've got to get there. We've been there.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
It's so much.
So let's say Joyce wins the lottery, and I could stay, and I could stay at the best hotel inside.
Which Disney World or Disneyland?
Disney World.
See, Disney World, I'd have 2 choices for you. Like I would do the Contemporary, which is one of my favorites, because it's the one right next to the park. You can walk to the park with, and if you get a theme park room, you can watch fireworks from your balcony. Wow! And my other favorite hotel, which I'm going to next week for a quick trip, is Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Oh, Animal Kingdom.
Yes, because you can sit on your back porch and you can see giraffes and gazelles and.
Oh wow!
And sometimes I've sat on the back porch and you can see the fireworks in the distance from the parks, and I'm watching giraffes walk around.
But aren't these inside Disney?
They are too. The Animal Kingdom has a whole separate area where they do a safari.
So then I don't have to wait for the park to open because I'm already inside.
Well, Animal Kingdom Lodge they built it so it has its own safari, and there's own animals that are running around. So
I would love that.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
great.
I would love that. Wouldn't that be great? But I love the whole idea. What you say, just relaxing on your porch. You have a drink.
Correct.
And you're just watching.
Morning coffee is all. Animal Kingdom Lodge. Morning coffee is like
morning coffee. My favorite part of a whole vacation, or when I'm like chilling, I love the morning coffee.
But you can't get a better view of having morning coffee, and there's giraffes. Walking by you.
Wow. Now, is that loaded like with children? Is it noisy? You think
Animal Kingdom is kind of spread out, and I don't. All their rooms are pretty much built soundproof because I think they realize that.
Smart move.
But I always say that the kids are the kind of the best part. They're running around and having fun.
Yeah.
And you live vicariously through them.
Like I like the vibes of everybody just having fun. Like going to the parks and seeing everybody having a good time. Like I feed off of that. It's just like
it's like even when I'm at the beach, a lot of people get annoyed by the kids. I don't.
Yeah,
that doesn't bother me.
No, I love
as they run by and they kick seat.
Because I've done it a lot. Like I love the first time I brought my kid to Disney. Like that's absolutely. We've had some, it's almost some of the stuff's like, is this staged? Like I can't even believe. Like, we had one where we went to a Halloween party and he wanted to go do a thing where they make you up like a pirate. So he was basically Captain Jack Sparrow.
Oh yeah.
And as we're walking through Adventureland, the Captain Jack Sparrow costume character, or the real Captain Jack Sparrow, whatever.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp
noticed him, and then they had like a moment. They posted for pictures. He was asking. My son was probably like 4 or 5.
Never forget that for the rest of your life.
And then the follow up with it, they had a parade after that, and that same character was on a float, and he like pointed and called my son out and dipped his pirate hat to him.
That's cool. We personally.
And it was like I got on camera, and it's like that was absolutely amazing.
John, you could do that. You could have that role. You would love that.
I would.
People being on a float, waving.
Yeah, sure.
It's just
you doing that.
I always have super happy times there, and when I go so often, it's just.
And I remember people saying it's so clean.
Correct. They do a very good job.
Yeah, they do.
They do an awesome job at that. I always think it spoils me for when I go to other theme parks and I'm like, ooh, I don't like the garbage cans overflowing or
Not at Disney.
Yeah, Disney has also spoiled fireworks shows for me.
So there's two things I want to ask. So one is you had sabers, what is it, lasers built? The Star Wars.
Oh, the lightsabers.
The lights.
So
yes.
I went, when Galaxy's Edge first opened, me and my business partner went as like a trip, and he got a lightsaber built, and you're allowed one guest to it. And it's a whole experience. Like they make it like that you're a Jedi and you're doing a thing. And I was like, wow, this is really amazing. And it's kind of pricey. But I made it a thing. I'm like, I wanted to hold off and I wanted to do it with my father and my son. Like all three of us would go build lightsabers together.
Father and son doing it.
Yeah. So we went and I had scheduled, and just kind of by accident, I scheduled one of the last builds of the night. It was like 9:00 at night, and it could not have gone better. Like we went in and we built our lightsabers, and my dad turned to me. He's like, "This is one of the most amazing things." Like my dad was so happy building a lightsaber.
I love that.
And my son was all over the top. And then when we came out, fireworks were going off.
Wow.
And then we were watching the fireworks, and a photographer came up to us and he said, "Hey, would you guys like to get some pictures with your lightsabers?" And the fireworks had ended and the park was emptying out. So we walked around Galaxy's Edge, and this, we're not paying for this. This photographer spent like 20 minutes with us. We got photos in front of Millennium Falcon. My mom had the lightsaber. I got all these pictures of my mom with a lightsaber.
It's almost like it was choreographed.
My sons would love this.
Yeah, and my dad was like, "God, that was one of the most amazing things like I've ever done."
Isn't it all about memories?
Oh
yeah. The one funny thing, there's in Animal Kingdom there's a ride called Flight of Passage. Like so you're flying on a Banshee from Avatar. And it is probably one of the most amazing rides I've ever been on, and I couldn't wait to get my parents on it. And so we're on the ride, we get off. My dad loves Avatar, but my mom turns to me and she goes, "That was the most amazing experience of my entire life." And I said, "Giving birth to me and my brother, they were not don't rank."
I'm offended here, Mom.
This is it for you?
This is it. This was better than like she laughed, but seeing like my mom have like a childlike look on her face. Yeah. Like I brought her on Test Track, and she probably shouldn't have gone on Test Track. Like,
what's Test Track?
It's you're racing a car, but at the end of it goes on this track at like 65 miles.
Yeah, I went on that.
We get off. My mom had this look on her face, like her hair was hair was all over the place. She goes, "That might have been too much."
Okay, now Joyce is going down for the first time. Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Makes it easier in Florida. What should she know? First time planning the trip, just
first time
you
have to you call me first, of course.
Yes.
Right.
You put your planning in, like you decide what hotel. Each hotel has its own vibe. Like there's when I talk to people about which hotel, I kind of give them one that I think would fit them because they vary in price too, and they're all great. Like I've stayed at almost all the hotels down there, and there's parts that I love of each hotel.
What would be the first one you would go to in your initial visit? Which one would you choose?
My initial one that's not very expensive and I think is one of the nicer hotels is Coronado Springs.
Coronado?
Coronado.
Oh, Coronado.
Coronado Springs. And on the tower part, they have a restaurant there called Toledo, and it is one of the most amazing restaurants I've ever been to.
Okay, speaking of restaurants, though we do have to speak about, because you mentioned to us off camera once that there's a place you ate at, but not a lot of people know about it.
Are you talking about Club 33?
Club 33.
33.
So Club 33 is a members-only club inside of Disneyland. Like, so you can't get in there unless you are a member. There's only about 1,200 members. There's a lot of famous
1,200 members where for both parks have Club 33?
Well, they just opened Club 33 in Disney.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, Disney World too.
Okay.
But the one in Disneyland is the iconic one that's been around forever. So there's about 1,200 members there. There's a wait list. It costs
a lot.
Like I've heard they say it's between $40,000 and $80,000 a year to belong.
Oh.
Wow.
You do get benefits from that. Like you do get some stuff for that, but
Joyce, you might be able to afford that.
When I win that lotto.
yeah,
believe it.
you can't go to that restaurant. Like I couldn't just walk in and make a reservation.
Right.
You have to be invited by a member.
So you can be a guest.
You can be a guest of a member, but they have to invite you. So I was lucky enough. I have my very good friend Dan, who's like one of my best friends in the world. He contacts me. He happened to be working for a member, and said, he invited me to Club 33. Would you like to go?
Oh, what?
I said, one, that's a dumb question.
Right.
Because,
You'll have to ask you again.
of course, because it's one of the things that I never thought I was going to ever do. Because it's one of those things that you have to be invited, and I don't know any members out there. So we got invited. There are rules and regulations. There's a dress code. You can take pictures of your food. You can take pictures of your party you're with. You can take pictures of the decor, but you can't take pictures because there's obviously famous people there.
Yeah, privacy.
So it's inside the park. So we got dressed up. You get really, really dressed up, and it's weird walking through an amusement park, like super dressed up. And you go to a door and you ring a special doorbell and you come in and there's a courtyard.
Does it have a name on the door?
There's a little 33 logo, and that's it. And most of the time there's people taking pictures in front of it because,
So you can do that?
You can do that.
Okay. But you can't take photos inside?
Inside the location.
Only of your food.
Would there be any, did you see anybody that we would recognize?
I did not see any famous people that night.
Really?
No. I did have an absolutely amazing experience. Like, the dining is just one of those things where there's basically somebody standing behind each member of the table. And,
it's like
if
butler.
you get up to go to the bathroom, your napkin's folded again.
Oh.
If you took a sip of water, it's being filled again.
I would take a job just doing that, just to get into 33.
Yeah,
Can you find me a rich
Wait,
boyfriend?
Yeah.
I had a blue cheese crusted filet mignon.
Oh, now you're talking.
Outrageous.
Now you're talking.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
And we had timed it so that there's a show called Fantasmic that's right out on the balcony, and there's fireworks right after that. So as part of our dinner, we got to get up and from the balcony see both these shows.
Oh, they're just salivating.
And I still it was one of the most amazing dinners. Like, I never thought I would do it. Would love to do it again, but the chances are that.
Yeah, but you did it once.
I did it once, and it was absolutely.
Wait, was your wife with you?
Wife was with me. My child was with me.
Oh, they were able to.
Yeah, he got to do it. My friend Dan was there. His wife was there.
Did you get to order off a menu, or they?
There's a whole menu.
Okay.
They have a whole specialty drink menu. I had a phenomenal dessert. I think it was some amazing cheesecake. And the whole day I was just like, I can't believe I'm going to do this. I can't believe I'm going to do this. And even afterwards, I'm like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that.
Now, as we're getting toward the end of our episode here, Robbie, can you throw some other maybe tidbits in that people may not know about Disney? That they're kind of like, whoa, I didn't realize that. A little behind the scenes.
Well, you can at both parks. There are special tours. At Disney World, there's a tour that you can go under Disney World.
Under Disney World.
It is built on. It's called the Utilidors. It's built on a system of tunnels. Because when Walt built Disneyland, he didn't have that, being able to do that. And he didn't like
going to the Vatican and going underneath.
Wait a minute. I thought in Florida you can't even have a basement because of the water level.
They actually they built an artificial lake and they took all that dirt and they piled it up and then they built a tunnel system. Because they didn't want, if you were a character or you were working in Frontierland dressed as a cowboy, they didn't want you walking through another area to go to.
That makes sense.
So you can do we did a whole tour of underground where it's like there is cafeterias, there's where all the costumes are, there's people walking around getting to different areas, and there's all these secret entrances that are in plain sight. And now that I know these, I can look around and see these are.
But you just can't use those tunnels.
No, you can't use them. You have to do a tour. Like in Disneyland, you can do a tour where Walt actually had an apartment built above the firehouse, and you can actually go up and see his apartment. And he kept it the way it was when he was there.
Wow.
It was like etched in time.
Very cool.
It was great.
And by the way, those who are listening to us maybe on, iHeart and other platforms, please go to YouTube so you could see our ears.
Yes. If they're listening to it, they're missing out on a whole experience.
Especially yours, because you've got that magical blue hat. I love that.
The wizard's hat, yeah.
The wizard's hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was given to me. Patty also has ears like this a few years ago because Patty had never been there before. And we told somebody at one of the stores, we'd never been to Disney. So you'd never been to Disney, and went right behind the counter and both gave us ears for free.
Yeah, you'll get
As
those
a
magical. Yeah, we had one where my son lost his autograph book. And the person goes, hold on a second. And they went and got him another autograph book. And then brought him over to Character Society.
Well, when I go, I'm telling everybody. I've never been here before.
You get that, but...
And thank you to your wife, Paula, for letting me borrow her.
Those are pride and joy.
I know. Very good care, but my hair is very clean, Paula.
Well,
Yes.
Robert, thank you so much for coming back. We appreciate
Thank you.
We appreciate all of you because without you, we don't have a podcast. And just please tell a friend about us. Spread the word. What's Good with John and Joyce. Good News, your good news podcast, your safe place to land. Check it out on all the major streaming platforms. And Robert, once again, thank you. And Joyce, as always, it's a pleasure being with you.
I loved it. I love being here with Robert. And we'll put your information on both shows, how to reach you.
Yeah.
And what else was I going to say? I don't know.
MMOUSC.
Bless you and your family. Thank you so
Bye
much.
now.
Bye. Till next time.